Hello, everybody. It's Angie from Trips with Angie. I am so excited to be with you tonight. I'm excited you're joining me as we talk about El Dorado Resorts, an adults-only all-inclusive resort. I'm going to do something a little different tonight and use slides so I can show you pictures of what I'm talking about. As you join, just give me a shout out. Let me know that this sounds good, everything's working. And so let's get started. So I am Angie Lusk. As you can see here, here's a photo of me with a chef at El Dorado Royale. As we go through tonight's program, I'm going to talk a lot about one of the things I really love about El Dorado is their gourmet inclusive program and all of their culinary programming. This was from a cooking class I took. Just a little bit more about me. I'm a travel agent. I've been a travel agent for 7 years, and I get so much joy and excitement from connecting you to fantastic vacations. And the best part is that it's no additional cost to you. A dirty little secret is that travel agent commission is built into most pricing for hotels, cruises, and vacation packages. So I get to help you. You pay the same amount. It's a great win-win. So to get started, let's go over what we're going to cover tonight. And one of the first things I want to talk about is kind of get the elephant out of the room is Mexico safe? So all the El Dorado resorts are in Mexico. And here is the current travel warning. It is level 2, exercise increased caution. This has been the level in Mexico for at least a decade. And you can see in the bottom sentence that there's no restrictions for government employees to travel to the tourist areas where these hotels are located. I frequently go to Cancun, Mexico. In fact, I'm heading there in 2 weeks. So I feel like it's a good place to go. But then again, I'm not in the club at 1 a.m. either. So just keep that in mind. Always be safe. All right. So here is a map of where the properties are located. El Dorado Royale, the first one we're going to talk about, is 45 minutes south of the Cancun airport. Right next door to that is El Dorado Casitas. Then about 10 minutes south of that is El Dorado Maroma. And then you'll see El Dorado Seaside Suites, 90 minutes from the airport, but much closer to Tulum and the other ruins of Mexico. So here we go. I'm going to talk a little bit about the El Dorado brand. We're going to go over El Dorado Royale, which I think has the best pools, El Dorado Casitas Royale, which I think has the best suites, the best beach at El Dorado Maroma. That's also where those overwater bungalows are located, the great location of El Dorado Seaside Suites, and then some special offers for those of you listening in. And feel free to ask questions anytime. It takes a couple seconds for the questions to come through. So if I'm still talking, don't worry, I saw it and I will answer it as soon as I can. All right. So the El Dorado brand is really about this gourmet inclusive experience. Here is a tuna dish I had for lunch one day. Can you believe that this is lunch at El Dorado Royale? They try really hard to bring the best quality ingredients. They have a greenhouse where they grow organic vegetables that gets distributed to the 4 different resorts. They try to source grass-fed beef. They have top shelf liquor. On all of their menus, it's already noted what entrees and dishes are going to be vegan and gluten-free, so people don't have to feel like they have to ask for the special menu. They also have a lot of culinary programming at their different resorts. So tequila tastings or cooking workshops or demonstrations. And they have more a la carte restaurants, meaning restaurants where you go in and sit down and order off of a menu. In fact, they call their buffet restaurants food displays because they try to individually plate dishes versus just having a big steam table with a serving spoon. They want you to have a great culinary experience. El Dorado Royale is a huge resort. It's so big that there's a golf cart shuttle that runs around it, and it takes about 10 minutes to cover the whole property. It has 1.5 miles of beachfront, and in fact, every Friday they run a 5K at El Dorado because there's so much beachfront for them to cover. That has great pools. Here's a picture of one of the main pools there, and it's great for groups. I've had a lot of groups stay there. They do have a little struggle around dining, so you want to make sure, if you're trying to eat together in a group, either arrange for a special dinner for an additional fee, or just go when the restaurant opens. That's a good way to handle going in a group. Two of the events I absolutely love at El Dorado Royale are the Canadian Beef Series and the Kendall Jackson Wine Series. So this photo is an event they put on for all the guests. This is the opening night of the Canadian Beef Series when we were there. It's this beautiful outdoor reception, a wonderful buffet with an esteemed chef from Canada that comes in, features Canadian beef. There's different workshops available, a special dinner available. There's a burger bash on one of the days. There's also the Kendall Jackson Wine Series where they highlight the different Kendall Jackson wines. So these are just great add-ons for you to go and see this wonderful property. You're having a great vacation. And then there's these wonderful special events. This year, they also had a special Texas week where they brought in chefs from Texas to highlight the different food around El Dorado. One thing to know about this property is the beach has been highly eroded. So they've placed these concrete barriers in the water to help break up the tide as it comes in and break up the waves as they come in order to help stem some of that erosion. Eventually, these concrete blocks will sink and become an artificial reef, but for right now, you can see them. So I know for some people, having crystal clear blue water as far as you can see is a big priority. That's not my priority. I am fine with laying on a valley bed, listening to the waves crash on the beach as I take a nap or read a book. So it's not a problem to me, but I know a lot of folks want that, beach that they see in the movies. So just keep that in mind for El Dorado Royale. The recommended room here, because there are so many different room categories, is the swim up suite, and then in particular the swim up jacuzzi suite. As you can see, your patio leads into this pool, this winding pool that's shared, and some of the pools actually connect to a swim up pool. So you could walk from your room through the water to a swim up bar, which I think is so much fun. And Glenn said really good burgers at Canadian Beef Series. I know, they were so good. So just to give you an idea of some of the pricing, I did the same dates for all the different resorts so you can see how the different pricing works in comparison to each other. All pricing is subject to change. These were the prices as of this afternoon. Prices are constantly shifting, so definitely contact me if you want to book something. We can look from your airport for your dates, but this will just give you an idea. So round trip nonstop flights from Chicago, 7 nights in a swim up jacuzzi suite, about $4,600. And the special offer is if you book by January 31st, you'll get a free private transfer from me. I will pay for that for you. So you will arrive to the resort in your own transfer. You don't have to wait for that shared shuttle van to fill up. So right next door to El Dorado Royale is El Dorado Casitas. This is a more high-end experience, a more luxury experience. I think the suites here are absolutely amazing. This picture is of the infinity pool swim up suite. So that water you're looking at is your own private plunge pool right outside your patio. And then you go down a set of stairs. You can kind of see that silver railing right in the middle of the photo. You go down a set of stairs, and then there is one of those water walkways like we saw at El Dorado that leads to a swim up bar, which is where that thatched building is. Absolutely amazing. We would get room service breakfast. They have this amazing lobster omelet, and we would just hang out by our own private plunge pool until we got bored, and then we'd walk over to the swim up bar. There's also a little place where you could grab a light lunch, or you could always walk back to your room and order room service. It's just a great experience. The other great thing about these suites is the outdoor shower. Now, it's not like you're outside naked. It's enclosed. It's fully enclosed all the way around, but it's open at the top, and it has this amazing shower head, kind of like a rainforest shower. So that is definitely one of the perks of staying in these suites. The swim up bars are really special here. This is a picture of a swim up bar because each section has their own bar. So there's a section, it makes like a U of between 620 to 28 suites, depending on which section you're in, that have their own swim up bar, which is great. So it's not crowded. The bartender gets to know you. It's not hard to find a seat by the pool. There's also beach butlers. If you did want to go lay out on the valley beds out on the beach, there's beach butlers. They have this little trolley cart with magazines and games and sunscreen, anything you would need. You can even pre-order a picnic. So they'll bring a picnic to you on your valley bed by the beach. So a lot of great service at El Dorado Casitas. Again, here's a sample package from Chicago, including flights, about $5,800 for a week. All right, El Dorado Maroma. So Maroma is routinely ranked as one of the best beaches in Mexico and even the world on some lists. You can see it's that nice powdery sand, blue water. There has been some concrete sandbags, again, put in the water here just over to the right, again, to help with that erosion. When the hurricanes came through, and there was construction for the overwater bungalows, some of the sediment and the soil got disturbed. So they're just working on calming that down. But it's still this gorgeous sand, blue water. The El Dorado Maroma is also close to activity. So on the left-hand side of this beach is Maroma Adventures, which is a headquarters for snorkeling, catamaran trips, and ATV rides. And you can even have a camel safari where you ride a camel down the beach. So for those of you who love excursions, I always recommend El Dorado Maroma, because to me, the worst part of the excursion is that first 45 minutes where the shuttle has come to pick you up and you're stopping in every other hotel on the strip. And then 45 minutes later, you finally get to where your excursion is about to start. So this cuts through all of that. You just walk out the lobby, walk around the corner, and you're there at Maroma Adventures. All of the suites here are good. Honeymoon suite is a popular option. That's going to be about $5,000 for 7 nights. But the real star of the show at El Dorado Maroma is going to be the Palafitos, the overwater bungalows. These were the first overwater bungalows in the Caribbean, the only overwater bungalows in Mexico. You have a private restaurant, a private spa, a private beach area. You also have a butler that's going to see to your every need. There's windows in the floor so you can see down into the water. There's also steps where you can head down into the ocean right from your individual palafito. So this is pricing about $12,000 for a 7-night stay. Now, this pricing is very similar to what you would find in an overwater bungalow in Tahiti. Tahiti's a little more, depending on, if you're going to Bora Bora versus Moorea, depending on which area of Tahiti you're going to. But the big difference here is you don't have that flight. So that's why people love this, is that you don't lose 2 days on the way there and then have a 30-hour journey on the way home. So it really makes the most of your time. And nowadays we know time is our number one commodity. So it's the one thing we don't have a lot of. So this gives you that beautiful experience over the water without having that long flight. Now that takes us to El Dorado Seaside Suites. These are the ones located down near the ruin. So if you're thinking about spending time exploring Tulum or Coba or Chichen Itza, this is a great headquarters because you're closer to those. Tulum is about 2 hours south of the Cancun airport. So you're about half an hour away here at El Dorado Seaside Suites. The star of El Dorado Seaside Suites are these infinity pools. You can see on the first level, you connect, let me go back. You connect to the main pool. So this is your patio, heads out to the main pool. Now that's not quite private enough for me for when I want to come out with my morning coffee. So I like being on the first or second floor. You still have an infinity pool. You still can go from your patio to a shared pool. The pool runs the entire length of the balcony. This is so much fun for groups, couples groups. The rooms only have king size beds. So it would have to be groups of couples or, singles could go, but you only have a king size bed. So if you had a group of couples that wanted to go celebrate a birthday, how fun would it be to kind of have your own floor? You could all come out enjoying that infinity pool all together. It would be so much fun. Again, another great place. Get that room service breakfast, even room service lunch. You would not have to leave your room if you didn't want to. So the beach, so just to give you a little more about the beach, look at this beautiful view here on the left. This is your view from the infinity pool. Like that's the railing of the infinity pool. So that's what you're looking out over on the upper level floors. And then here's the beach. So you can see it's a little bit narrower, and El Dorado kept the natural trees. So they really are committed to the environment and conservation. And so when they come in and build a resort, they don't clear cut everything. One, keeping the trees as shade. As we know, shade is really important to a lot of people. Skin cancer is a huge concern. So having this extra shade is a huge benefit. It also helps anchor the sand to help prevent erosion. And it's just better for the environment to keep the natural foliage. So the beach is a little narrow. It's a little rocky in some places, but again, you still have that beautiful view, that beautiful blue water. So a sample package here, I get about $4,400 for a week in the oceanfront swim up suite. Now, this resort, I do want to tell you, this resort, you have to be really careful because there's two sections. So there's the section that has the infinity pools like this, and there's another section that's just like a regular hotel. And you share restaurants between the two. So some restaurants are located here by the infinity pool in these suites. The other restaurants are located at the other resort. And then there's a couple more at the mangroves. Right behind the resort. So you want to make sure you're booking in the right building. That's one benefit of using a travel agent. You know exactly what you're getting. So you want to make sure you are booking in the right building to get those infinity pool suites. So that's kind of the highlights for El Dorado Royale, El Dorado Casitas Royale, El Dorado Maroma, and El Dorado Seaside Suites. If you have any questions, just let me know. While you're thinking of those, I did want to share, I am going to be doing these Facebook nights on a regular basis. Here's the ones that are coming up. Next week, I'm going to do the Grand Canyon Railway. Then I'm going to talk about multi-generational travel. And what I mean by that is a lot of families these days are grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, and kids all traveling together. And it can be a real challenge to find a resort or cruise where everyone's going to be happy. So that's something I specialize in. I book this a lot, so I can help give you some tips and tricks to make that happen and some ideas for when you're ready to book your trip. Viking Ocean Cruise Lines, we're going to talk about Universal Studios Orlando, Disney cruises, both ocean cruises and the river cruises that are available through Adventures by Disney, and then Aruba, one of my favorite places in the world, at the end of February. If you are ready to book and take advantage of some of these special offers, here's where you can find me. You can always email me, Angie@tripswithangie.com, or you can head to tripswithangie.youcanbook.me and set up a time to chat. That's the easiest, fastest way for me to help you. Again, thank you so much for listening in. Feel free to add questions in the comments if you're watching this on the replay. I'd love to get you booked into one of these great resorts and pay for your private transfer. So I hope you're having a great night and have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.